And of course, the greatest part for me was, as a little boy, sitting there waiting for one of them to fall off. Because that often happened. You know, static electricity kind of give off in the middle of the Bible story when Moses is getting ready to take flight. And of course, when you're a little kid, I mean, church is an uptight place. All little kids know about church is sit still, pay attention, don't run, don't do this. You're sitting there trying to be as holy as you can. It's 5, you know. But Moses is getting ready to take a nosedive. And you just sit there and go, and sure enough, finally, there you go, off on the floor. Little kid just explode. Oh, this flower, he's having a nosedive on him, you know. But the teacher, of course, the teacher doesn't know what happened. You know, her back's to the board, so all of a sudden she's going, hey, little kids, it's not a funny Bible story. Now pay attention. So I don't know, to this day, I got a warped sense about Bible stories. Part of me, I hear a Bible story, part of me goes, ooh, this could be funny. Another part of me goes, you might get yelled at. So she was teaching us the story of the Good Samaritan, you know, sticks this guy on the road, walks a little bit, and says some bad guys beat him up, left him in the ditch, so she took him off, turned him sideways, stuck him in the ditch. I remember turning over, looking at him, I thought, wow, he looks like Joseph. Looks a lot like Joseph looked a few months ago in the Christmas story. Sure enough, remember the 3 other guys come walking down the road? Remember the first one comes by, stops, doesn't have compassion. The second one comes by, just stops, doesn't have compassion. Though they had frankincense and myrrh. I noticed they were carrying that. Last guy comes walking down the road. He does have compassion as well as a load of gold that he's carrying. Now I'm thinking, I'm getting duped in a Sunday school class. I know who these guys are. And like 6 months later, when Sister Anna Fern, that was her name, taught Sunday school forever, now she's teaching us, you know, about the 3 Hebrew children. And now I'm thinking, okay, these are the same guys. Because when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego went in the furnace, they're all carrying something. Thought I saw some gold. Into the furnace they go, the flannel furnace. Walked into the flannel furnace. And remember in the story, King Nebuchadnezzar at one point looks and he says, hey, did not we throw 3 men into the furnace? But I see a 4th. And the 4th appears to me as the Son of God. And I looked and I thought, I don't know, he looks kind of like Joseph. You know, all in all, really, seriously, I consider myself blessed to have been exposed to such multi-talented actors who, week after week, came out with their maroon-colored cigar box, which I found interesting. Now, don't take this the wrong way. Some of you may smoke. I was raised, my parents always taught my brother and I, if you boys ever light up a cigarette or a cigar, that'll be the initial flame that will then lead to the eternal ones. That was sort of my take on smoking. It was kind of like this. Oh, you like smoke, do you? Well, there's a place for you. So, I found it interesting that all the Bible characters lived in the cigar box. Right there in church, every Sunday, on that little desk next to the flannel board. How did that profane object get right there into the Holy of Holies? It perplexed me so. And of course, little boys' imaginations, you know, I sit there and I look at that. I couldn't hardly concentrate on the Bible story because I'm, cigar box. Somebody smoked a bunch of cigars. And then I'd look up at Sister Anna Fern. And in my mind's eye, my little mind's eye, I would see her out behind the church. Making room for more Bible characters, of course. 2 more of these and we get all 12 disciples in there. Look, I'm sure that didn't happen. I'm just sure it didn't happen. But I thought about it. I thought about that as a little boy. It just was a perplexing thought. Well, you know what? Those stories must have been taught well, because I remember sitting there as a 5-year-old boy, and I got it. The Good Samaritan, I got it. I remember sitting there thinking, I want to be like that last guy. I want to be sensitive. I want to see the needs that may exist around me that others might not see or choose not to become involved in. And I can tell you that by God's grace, through these years of ministry, I've had the privilege of rescuing many, many, many from the ditches of life. So it was a story well taught and remembered by me today from some little flannel Bible characters that lived in a maroon-colored cigar box a long time ago. And so I wrote this song many years ago. It remains one of my favorites. And I think it fits so well with the theme of this ministry tonight. It's entitled The Good Samaritan.